What up, gamers? Spencer here, and welcome back to my reaction to the SpongeBob conspiracy compilation with 8 new mini theories. Last time we watched the evolution theory and the human war mini theory, as well as debunking the crab theory. I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, I feel like I think that was a thing. Like I heard about it before, but I never really delved deep into it. But yeah, that's what we watched before. In this video, we'll be watching the Neptune theory and the GrandPat mini theory. And once again, go check out Alex Bale and watch his video, give him a view and some watch time to support him. Because yeah, I'm sure this video uh, took a lot of time for him to make. And yeah, definitely go and support him, man. He does deserve it. He does. Anyways, here we go. Neptune theory first, and then the GrandPat mini theory. Now, with like I said before, with the next couple of theories, I feel like I kind of forgot most of them, which I'm excited for because that means I feel like I can just rewatch them for the first time. So, yeah, let's watch it. The False King, the Neptune theory. Yeah, this one has
So,
like
the
multiple Neptunes.
continuity with King Neptune is a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
There are two different King Neptunes. There's a King Poseidon, there's three different royal palaces. Two of them are called the City of Atlantis, but there's also a third unrelated City of Atlantis. It's confusing to say the least. But there is actually a way to explain how all of this is intentional and connects together. This is a story of power,
I forgot
deception, and betrayal. This is the Neptune theory.
the Lost City of Atlantis, like the one with the brain people. Part 1, the movie Neptune.
King Neptune is the ruler of the seven seas and the Roman god of the ocean. If you watch
Another
my
secret
evolution
muse
theory,
code.
you know there's also a good chance he's the reason why fish in Bikini Bottom are so evolved and able to talk. He lives in the city of Atlantis with his wife Queen Amphitrite and his son Triton. But in the first SpongeBob movie, he's replaced by a completely different King Neptune who has a completely different daughter named Mindy. These guys don't look or sound at all the same, so how can they both exist in this universe? Well, there's already an interesting theory out there about this. It's widely believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future after the events of the show. So widely believed that I got hundreds of comments about it in my Mrs. Puff theory. Yep, I know guys, I heard what you said. The creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, said he wanted to end the series with the movie, and it being canonically at the end of the
Steven Hillenburg never fully left the show after the movie, like many people think. He stayed on as an executive producer and was still involved in overseeing the episodes. He also knew about and was involved in the development of Camp Coral. I never knew that.
SpongeBob timeline would explain why we never see the Krusty Krab 2, or any of the other characters from the movie in the later SpongeBob episodes. And some people believe that the reason why movie Neptune is so different is because he's actually Neptune's son, Triton, all grown up. And that's a pretty cool theory, but I don't buy it. Other than Triton looking nothing like movie Neptune, I've never actually believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future. Despite there being many people who commented about it on my Mrs. Puff theory as if it was a proven fact, there's never actually been any official confirmation of it. Steven Hillenburg only said that he wanted to stop making SpongeBob after the movie. He never said anything about where the movie actually takes place in the timeline of the show. And we do
They're very
actually
different
briefly
things.
see Neptune's daughter Mindy show up later in the show in SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. There's no way
I remember
she'd be
seeing
there
that too.
unless the show took place
Like yeah, when I
after
saw
the
Mindy there, I thought that episode that big birthday blowout. Like that's when I first thought that episode was more on the special side of things.
events of the movie. You know, I still get this comment to this day. Like, people really think this is like an indisputable proven fact. I do have some really interesting new evidence about the movie being fake and when it takes place in the timeline, but it's just too complicated to bring up here, so I'm gonna save it for the mini theory. I
Oh,
think
what?
what's
The Squidward director theory. Oh. If I had to guess what that is, I'm guessing Squidward directed the SpongeBob, the first movie. And I guess maybe that would explain why Squidward was so absent in that movie for the most part, where he only had like such little screen time, I think. You know?
actually going on here with Neptune is something much more interesting, and
Is
it
that what's
ties
coming up?
directly
Hold on. Is that what's coming up? No, that's the GrandPat theory. Oh, here we go. The Squidward director mini theory is in the next video. Or like, the next set of theories that I'll be watching.
in with the television theory. If you haven't seen that video, it basically proves that the entire show SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a nature documentary being filmed by scuba divers, and many of the elements we see throughout the series are secretly set up by the showrunners to make sure that the show is more entertaining and profitable. And this applies to the SpongeBob movie as well. There's promotional art and even a commercial that acknowledges the fact that it's just a movie being filmed.
Hello? SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. Can you tell us about your latest adventure?
Well, this one adventure we had was a real Lulu.
You mean when we went after Neptune's crown? It seemed bigger than our usual adventures.
Yes, and with fewer interruptions.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
They know what to say for the
What's
movie.
that?
I know.
I think the real reason why Neptune looks so different in the movie is because the filmmakers couldn't get the real King Neptune, the literal god of the sea, to show up for a movie. So they hired an actor to pretend to be the king. And there is actually a ton of evidence in the show to support this.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure, Neptune already has everything that he wants. I don't think any amount of money would really please him to for him to be hired for the movie. It's like way too expensive, and he'll probably not accept it. Like he is the king of Atlantis, so yeah, I don't think there's anything else that he would want other than SpongeBob and his cooking skills.
King Neptune is supposed to live in the great city of Atlantis, but in the movie he just lives in some random sandcastle, almost like they just built a discount version for the movie. But the real evidence comes
Yeah,
from
like for a movie story, I'm sure they want to control many aspects of it, and so yeah,
Season 10, Episode 18,
they just hired a
Lost
fake
and
one.
Found, where SpongeBob goes beneath the Krusty Krab to look for something in the Lost and Found. As he searches through the surprisingly massive collection of items, on one of the shelves, we see something mind-blowing. The crown worn by King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie.
Yep, just casually there.
The entire plot of the movie hinges on the fact that Neptune thinks Mr. Krabs stole his crown. Why would Mr. Krabs have this now? Because this isn't just the Krusty Krabs Lost and Found. It's also where they store the props used by the SpongeBob SquarePants filmmakers to create the SpongeBob movie. If you remember from my television theory, Mr. Krabs is secretly working for the showrunners to spy on all the main characters. And his secret surveillance room was hidden beneath the Krusty Krab, just like this Lost and Found. So it makes perfect sense for the showrunners to hide their props down here. And if you still don't believe me, we also see SpongeBob's guitar, the
scene.
Goober peanut hats,
I missed that.
and the magical bag of wind. All items from the movie that would make no sense being down here unless this was the showrunner's prop storage and the movie.
Yeah,
King
a shelf
Neptune
full
was
of
just an
movie
actor.
props.
Well, that's one Neptune down. Now for the real mystery.
Yeah, that one
King
I truly
Poseidon.
believe.
In the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, the King of the Sea is yet again replaced by a new character, King Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean. He actually does live in the city of Atlantis.
Oh. In the Patrick Star Show, season 1, episode 11, X marks the pot. Manry has miniature versions of all 3 different cities of Atlantis in his lair. Are they just replicas, or did he somehow shrink and steal all the cities at one point? Wow. I didn't know that.
Except instead of the ancient royal architecture, it's a giant casino designed to make money. It'd be easy to say that these are just 2 separate kings that rule different areas of the sea, but they both claim to be the ruler of the 7 seas. Alright, I don't have too much to add to this theory, but I just want to mention that I do know that in mythology, Neptune and Poseidon are the same person, just with different names. But my point is, in SpongeBob, they are clearly supposed to be 2 completely different
It's
people.
like 2 people.
That's kind of the whole point of this theory. So, how can 2 different characters both be the king of the same 7 seas? The answer to that question actually has to do with a place called Camp Coral. Throughout the third SpongeBob movie, we keep cutting back to flashbacks of a younger SpongeBob and all the other characters when they all went to summer camp together. This was all to set up a spin-off show called Camp Coral that followed these younger characters. Now at first, I just wrote the show off as SpongeBob following the trend of making all their characters younger to appeal to a younger demographic. It's been done before and it's never very good. They also completely completely contradict the continuity of the main show by having characters like Sandy and SpongeBob meet as kids when we know they actually met as adults in the main show. Look, I am having a hard enough time figuring out this show's
The timeline's
continuity
all
on its
messed up.
own. I do not need another show full of contradictions to make it even harder. But the creators actually did something very clever to make the continuity work. The 7th episode of Camp Coral ends with one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen from the show. So in this episode, SpongeBob actually discovers the Krabby Patty secret formula way before it was supposed to be created by Mr. Krabs. But at the end of the episode, it gets accidentally destroyed by Sandy, and then we get this mind-blowing scene.
This is Little Cheeks calling Big Cheeks. This is Big Cheeks receiving you from the future. Your plan worked perfectly. The formula burned out before Mr. Plankton could nab it. I knew sending you to Camp Coral was the right thing to do. Bye, future me. Mission accomplished, timeline preserved.
So Sandy used
Yeah, so this part I didn't really understand too much because I feel like this one only affects the formula. But then you have the stuff like, the meeting for the first time here instead of like in the first episode, around the first episode of the show. So yeah, I feel like this only applies for the Krabby Patty formula, right?
time travel to send her past self to Camp Coral so that she could make sure the Krabby Patty formula didn't get discovered before it was supposed to. They
Yeah.
actually figured out a way to make this messed up continuity make sense.
I don't know. I'm still iffy on this one because like that doesn't explain the whole them meeting for the first time.
Don't you dare tell me this
Uh-oh. Does SpongeBob being able to create a Krabby Patty formula in Camp Coral disprove my Pearl's mother whale meat theory? Oh, that's an interesting point. Maybe. At this point, Mr. Krabs is already taking care of Pearl by himself. Oh yeah, actually, this would be after the war then. So her mom would already be dead from the war. We don't ever see what SpongeBob used as ingredients. We only know it only cost pennies, and likely was already at the camp. Mr. Krabs runs the camp, and SpongeBob cooks out of an old sunken ship. It's possible this came from the same ship that killed Pearl's mother, and SpongeBob stumbled upon Mr. Krabs' secret stash of whale meat without realizing what it was. Either way, I don't think these spin offs are the most reliable sources of proving disproving theories.
show doesn't care about its continuity. Can I also just say that this scene lines up perfectly with my television theory? A major part of that theory is that Sandy is actually a spy working for the showrunners and is secretly making sure everything stays on track. And then what
Yeah,
do we
I do
see a
think
month
that
after I
does
post my
support
theory?
it.
Sandy secretly manipulating everyone to keep the
Like
show on
Sandy
track.
being a spy?
Just gonna give myself
I just
a
don't know
little
about
pat
the
on
whole
back there.
He's enjoying himself. I love that.
But enough gloating.
The whole
What does any
formula
of this
thing.
have to do with King Poseidon? Well, this proves that Camp Coral and the
I noticed how it was called Camp Coral um in the Poseidon movie instead of Camp Coral. I did notice this too. I remember when I watched this movie that they did show Camp Coral. But yeah, I know you guys can't read this like because there's a title here. But like in the movie, there was Camp Coral, but it was spelt with a C instead of the K with, the Camp Coral, like the first letters. But yeah, it's possible the camp exists in both timelines, hence why they reference it in newer episodes of SpongeBob, but only the CC universe has Poseidon as their king. It's confusing, I know.
movie that sets it up are in an alternate timeline. The events that have taken place in the show are not the same events in this movie. The continuity errors like Sandy and SpongeBob meeting, or Poseidon being the king of the sea instead of Neptune, can be explained by this shift in the timeline. So there you go.
This does beg the question, why did Sandy need a fixed timeline in the first place? What caused SpongeBob to accidentally discover the Krabby Patty recipe early? Also, my camera's low bat. This might be the last video I record before I maybe take a break to charge up my camera because I've been recording these videos in a row. Could it be from one of the many times characters have time traveled and messed up the timeline? Did the showrunners themselves mess with the timeline in order to create more marketable kid-focused spin-off? Maybe it has something to do with the Atlantean aliens. See the Atlantean time manipulation notes at the end of this theory. Hmm. Yeah, what did she have to fix it? I guess there's like maybe a canon timeline and that because they've been time traveling to record all these parts of, the SpongeBob timeline, maybe it's like messing things up or like there's a chance for things to mess up.
King Poseidon and King Neptune are from completely separate timelines. That's why we never see any reference to King Poseidon in the show. And that is the Neptune theory.
Nah.
I mean, that was
I
the
know
part.
there's more.
I guess I'm done here.
This part.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight. He must be mad about something.
My dog wants to go out.
That's silly. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
They're in the same time.
So yeah, Neptune.
Why can't anything ever be easy?
Wait, what was that? Did you guys see that? Oh no, commercial. Yeah, I don't know if we can see it there, but yeah, there's Alex Bale. Like normally he would have this thing where it shows an icon of him saying Alex from the future. Like that's speaking right now, but yeah, this is a reaction video, dude. I'm guessing it's a editing error. Yeah, maybe an editing error, or maybe it's just showing like, what's been added from the original theory videos.
In the same timeline.
Why can't anything ever be easy?
Part 3, The True God of the Sea.
This is the clip that really made me decide to make this theory. The beginning of Season 5, Episode 19, Spongehenge, shows two fish arguing over whether Neptune or Poseidon is the real ruler.
Dude, the ending of
sea.
Spongehenge
It's like
was
directly
crazy
telling
too.
us that both of these characters somehow exist in the same timeline, and it's our job to figure out how the puzzle
Yeah.
pieces fit together. So
They exist
let's take a look. Despite both of these
in the
characters
same
having
universe.
similar appearances and personalities, there is one very important difference between them. Poseidon doesn't have powers. We've seen many times that King Neptune has magical abilities that he can use at any time, even without his trident. But in the entire third SpongeBob movie, we never see Poseidon use any powers or magical abilities, except for lighting up his trident, but all he has to do for that is just flip a switch. And we know from the episode Trident Trouble that you don't even need to be a god to use the trident. And at the end of the third movie, we find out Poseidon is actually in terrible shape. If you
Yeah.
remember at the end of the episode Neptune's Spatula, Neptune briefly turns SpongeBob into a god, and we can see that having god powers gives you a perfect body. So why is Poseidon in such terrible shape? Because he doesn't actually have powers, only Neptune does. Even Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, has to use technology to zap someone, unlike Neptune, who only has to use his finger in the exact same episode. He is clearly the only one with powers, but why? To answer this question, we first have to understand the origins of King Neptune. Now, throughout the show, there is very little information on Neptune's past. I read the Wikipedia, I looked through the comic books, the video games, but I just couldn't find anything that would help me. But then I remembered there are SpongeBob shorts, which are like mini episodes that only air once, usually to promote something.
Yeah, these
So
I've
I
never
started
seen
looking
before.
to see if there were any that could help us, and lo and behold,
So these
there
feel
is
new
a
to me.
SpongeBob short called The Story of King Neptune. Huh. Yeah, I guess that could be helpful. This short
Yeah.
is about SpongeBob telling Patrick the origins of King Neptune, but it's not entirely clear whether it's true.
The story of King Neptune. When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river. As he floated along, a radioactive meteor fell to Earth. An alien appeared and anointed the infant with super Neptune fluid.
Also, maybe the green radioactive meteor in SpongeBob's story is a reference to Neptune's moon, which also kind of gives off a
Oh.
green radioactive vibe.
Is that really
That could
the
be.
origin of King Neptune?
Sure.
So King Neptune was abandoned as a baby and then given his powers by aliens. But SpongeBob is holding an upside-down comic book, so it feels a lot like something he just made up. And
Oh my gosh,
SpongeBob is
dude.
not the most reliable narrator. Unless there's something in the story that we can definitively prove, I don't think we can use it for a theory. Like, do you really expect me to believe that Neptune got his powers from aliens? I mean, we've never even seen aliens in the show before.
Actually, I think
Except-
there was. I remember in the recent episodes of SpongeBob, I remember they were on a farm, and there were actually aliens there. I think they had aliens there, but I could be wrong. It's been my memory's kind of hazy on that episode.
We have, and they just so happen to also live in a city called Atlantis. Season 5, Episode 12, Atlantis Square-Pantis, we see another completely different Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, a city that's home to a race of aliens. The Atlantean aliens traveled billions of light years to come to this planet and build their city.
I like this
For
art.
reasons unknown, this great city disappeared one day, but no ruins were ever found. All the inventions you take for granted.
That looks like one
were
of those
given
like
to us by the
game
Atlanteans.
boards.
They were a peaceful
Did the Atlanteans invent a magic conch? Could they be secretly guiding fishfolk from the shadows. Mmm. The shell phone, light bulb, wealth, false teeth. Did you show the conch? Oh yeah, the shell phone. Yeah, that could be it.
Race of aliens who shared their technology but then mysteriously disappeared for some reason. And take a guess what we find when we look inside of that city. A massive sculpture of King Neptune. That story about aliens giving Neptune his powers doesn't sound so far-fetched now, does it? And that's not all we find.
Neptune's Ascension, the only surviving painting from the great lost city of Atlantis.
A painting created by the Atlanteans called Neptune's Ascension, aka Neptune ascending to his god status by being given powers by the Atlantean aliens. The story is definitely referencing this. There are too many connections for this to be a coincidence. So even though it's being told by SpongeBob and details like the alien's appearance are wrong, the story itself is probably based on truth. And there's also a lot of evidence to support the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby. In Clash of Triton, Neptune is watching a soap opera in his bedroom and gets upset when his wife turns it off.
Yeah, this one this one was
Surely this isn't the
some really good
behavior
evidence
of
on
a
that.
king, doing nothing but watching daytime television.
Wait! Rochelle was just
And
about
dude,
to meet a biological parent.
you can even see the sun here. I didn't even notice this picture before. But I'm sure he also feels bad for like just locking away his son as well. You know, because I'm guessing he's also maybe thinking about the son, that maybe just him putting him in a cage does feel like kind of like just giving him away to like nature, like when he was thrown into the river.
In the soap opera, Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents. Maybe the real reason why Neptune's so invested in the soap opera is because he's never met his biological parents either.
Yeah.
There's even tissues on the table next to him as if he's been crying.
Maybe he's using those tissues for something else. That's what I saw.
So, I was watching a new season 14 episode, and we briefly see this random lady living alone in a rundown cabin in the woods. And I think she might actually be Neptune's mom.
Oh.
Obviously, she's not a royal mermaid like from the story, but we don't know how much we can trust the visuals of that story. She's got
Yeah.
the same skin and hair color, but the main thing that caught my eye was this photo of Neptune on
Oh
her
my
wall.
gosh.
I don't know, obviously there's not really much evidence here. I just thought it was kind of interesting and might be worth bringing up.
Yeah, they do look. I mean, I do think they look very similar. It could be. Wow. I can't read this one here. Living with regrets after seeing her abandoned son became keen to see. Just some random speculation.
And the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby works perfectly with
I think
the
that's some really
mythology
good
in the
evidence that
show.
he brought up.
Neptune is the Roman god of the sea, but he is the only reference to Roman mythology in the show. Everything else we see is from Greek mythology. In the episode Trident Trouble, we see a Greek chorus.
Behold, we are the Greek chorus.
I do wonder if there is more
Epic
Roman
tale.
than
Neptune
just
once mentioned Zeus,
Neptune.
the Greek god of thunder.
So I
'Cause,
say,
yeah, everything
look,
else is
Zeus,
Greek.
Either you come up with more money, or Neptune walks.
He also mentions Apollo, the Greek god of the sun.
Now behold, my beloved home of Atlantis. A prize worthy of Apollo.
Apollo.
I guess Apollo is both a Roman and a Greek god. Sorry about that.
Is he?
Apollo
I didn't know that. I thought like from my understanding of Greek and Roman, that they're just essentially the same, but they just have like different names. Like I think in Roman, like they're named after the planets, Neptune and stuff. I thought maybe Apollo had his own version of that with like one of the planets' names. I'm just not sure which one because I don't know much about Roman. I feel like I know much about Greek though. I remember just learning about it in like history class. But yeah, I don't know much about Roman, I think.
fans, that's my bad. Even in the city of Atlantis where Neptune lives, there's a building named the Poseidon, clearly named
Yeah, I
after
thought maybe
Poseidon.
Apollo would have
so Neptune
his
is
own.
clearly the outsider here, which is why he was abandoned.
Because I'm guessing that's what the comment said, right? I'm guessing Apollo does exist both in Roman and Greek, like with the same name, and it's not like a different name. Like they both represent the same person but different names. I'm guessing from the comments that means that they both have the same name in both mythologies. But I could be wrong.
as a baby. But if the sea is actually ruled by Greek mythology, then Poseidon should be the true heir to the throne. Why is Neptune the king in the show? Because after Neptune was given his god powers by aliens, he returned to Atlantis and stole the throne from Poseidon. This would explain why there's so much confusion over who the real king is.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight.
Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Legally, Poseidon should be the king, but Neptune took it by force. And that's not all he took from Poseidon. Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, is the goddess of the sea.
Yeah.
The Greek goddess of the sea, aka the wife of Poseidon. God damn, Neptune stole his wife and his throne. That
Yes.
is cold. God damn, Neptune stole his wife and his throne.
It's Mr. Stereo Girl!
The Greek goddess of the sea, aka the wife of Poseidon. No! Damn,
Dude, Poseidon sucks, man.
Okay, gonna interrupt here. So, some people have pointed out that the show's King Neptune is referred to as Neptune the 14th in Season 4's Krusty Towers.
This room is hideous.
Oh.
Redesign it. Neptune the 14th will be nice. What?
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that does kind of feel like it contradicts my theory a bit, but I don't know, I still think it could work. Like, he could be from a long line of Neptunes, but also could have been abandoned by his mother for whatever reason. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Maybe his Roman parents were trying to protect him somehow from the Greek gods in charge of the sea. I don't know, this theory is already full of enough random speculation. I don't really want to add anymore. And eventually,
I don't know. I'm sure like his story is not complete. Because yeah, maybe he was, born royalty, but then for some reason the mother abandoned him. Then he was like later rediscovered to be, the actual true ruler. Yeah, I can see that maybe.
everyone did recognize.
And just saying the 14th, that means there's been many Neptunes before him. I'm not sure when Poseidon came about, but like, yeah, I'm sure it's like when when Neptune was given away, Neptune the 14th was given away to nature. Like, yeah, that's a weird way of saying given away. But when he was abandoned, I'm guessing Poseidon took reign. Or I guess no, they would. I'm not sure. I guess I'm not sure about their ages and stuff. I'm sure they have different ages for like gods. I don't know, man. That's just what I think. I think when he was given away as a baby, at some point Poseidon took reign, and then Neptune was rediscovered to be the actual true ruler, and he took over and stuff. That's my guess.
Neptune as the rightful king. The pink fish who seemed adamant about Poseidon being the king completely changes her mind one season later in Clash of Triton.
Oh, wait a minute, King Neptune is coming here? Oh, I'm a huge fan of the royal family. I just love everything they do.
And that is the real story of King Neptune. The reason why Poseidon is king in the third movie is probably because in that timeline, Neptune was never given his god powers, so he never stole the throne from Poseidon. Although, seeing as how Poseidon turned Atlantis into a big casino cash grab city, maybe it's a good thing Neptune took over.
The lost city of Atlantic City.
Yeah, it's just a giant casino.
That is the Neptune
Giant
theory.
casino.
That was a tough one, but we are finally done. See you next time, guys. Wait, why is Poseidon City called the Lost City of Atlantic City?
The lost city of Atlantic City.
I mean, the Atlantic City Park makes sense. That's a reference to the real-life Atlantic City, but why is it called the Lost City? There is nothing lost about the city. It seems like everyone's easily able to find it. The only
there's so many
other
people
reference
there.
to a lost city of Atlantis is the one with the aliens that gave Neptune his powers. Nope. I don't care. I'm done with this theory. I don't
You're not
need to
done
answer
yet.
every single little question. I am 100% done.
By this point, I've done the same fake ending so many times that it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone anymore. Oh yeah, like every time I feel like he's done, I just feel like there's always something more. Like he always does. He always does this fake out like moments in these theories. I love this art, by the way. It's so cool.
Fine, okay?
Looks so
One
epic.
more quick part just to tie up all the loose ends, and then I am done. Alright, here we go. So we know before the Atlantean aliens mysteriously disappeared, they shared their technology with the creatures of the sea. I think the self-proclaimed gods of the sea got their technology, like tridents and their other weapons, from the Atlantean aliens. In fact, the Atlantean guards even use golden tridents as their weapons. That's why the gods named their city Atlantis, to pay tribute to the Atlanteans that gave them their technology. But all of that changed when Poseidon became king of the sea. He betrayed the Atlanteans and used their own weapons against them to conquer their home and turn it into a casino city. That's why Poseidon City is called the Lost City, even though it's not lost. It's referencing the Atlantean city that was conquered by Poseidon. And the reason why the Atlanteans gave god powers to some random abandoned baby in the main timeline was so that Neptune could take the throne from Poseidon and prevent him from conquering the
Oh,
alien city.
I forgot he mentioned about this part. It's possible that they gave Neptune powers after Poseidon stole the city, but there's evidence that the Atlanteans have the ability to see the future. In Atlantis Square Pantis, the Atlanteans already had custom fitted chairs for each of the characters by the time they arrive, almost like they somehow knew who would be coming. It's possible Atlanteans used their advanced technology to see the future, and maybe they were even responsible for creating the timeline split by traveling back in time to give Neptune powers. Obviously, this is all just convoluted speculation. Thank you for pausing to read my crazy ramblings. You're welcome, dude.
And the reason why the Atlantean city mysteriously disappeared was because they hid it so no one could ever try and conquer them again. And that is the Neptune theory. I am done.
Yeah, so how does it hold up? I mean, I would say it holds up still pretty well in my opinion. I feel like this theory is hard to make sense of. The only one I feel like fully makes sense is the movie Neptune. That's the only one. You know, comparing movie Neptune to these other ones here, like yeah, this one is very different, not as like godly looking as these guys. So yeah, this Neptune is a fake one. Um, but yeah, with these two, this one was I feel like for Alex, maybe it might have been hard to for him to maybe come up with to make sense of it. But I thought it makes sense in my opinion. Like it still held up pretty well. I'm not sure how he would rank himself when it comes to this. I thought it's at least maybe at least in the middle, you know? At least in the middle. Maybe it could be the third place, but I feel like it might be more in the middle, like for like whatever is left in the middle. But yeah, I really had no issues with this theory at
So,
all,
the
I think.
Neptune theory. This was and still is the most difficult theory I have
Oh
ever
yeah.
had to piece together.
Just like I
by
said, I'm
far.
sure
There is
this was
just
hard to
so
think
much
about.
inconsistent and contradictory information about these characters.
Like there's so many different versions of it that I imagine it'll be hard for him to put things together. But yeah, the only one I feel like it is the best, I guess, explained is the movie Neptune. That's like the only one.
Finding a way to actually tell a coherent story with them is not an easy task. Where are we gonna put this one? Sixth place. I still think it's
Yeah.
a believable theory, but there's just a lot of assumptions and speculation, and sometimes it gets really convoluted and hard
It
to
gets
follow,
weird with the timeline.
especially when we get into different branching timelines and talking about what is and isn't canon. But hey, I did the best I could with the messy evidence they gave me. I don't think there is a clean and simple way to connect all of these characters, and I'm proud of what I came up with. On to the next mini theory.
Yeah, that one is a hard one to pull off, this theory. The GrandPat theory. So this is the Patrick Star Show theory. Is he royal?
So in
Oh
2021,
no, dude, is he royal? Remember that one episode with Patrick where, you know, they thought he was royal, but actually it was Gary? Is he about to say that he's actually royal, like truly royal with GrandPat?
Nickelodeon released a new spin-off show all about Patrick called The Patrick Star Show.
Hi, I'm Patrick Star.
So yeah, when it comes to the Patrick Star Show, I don't know much about this. Even Camp Coral, I've only like watched a couple of, but the Patrick Star Show, I have like really no knowledge of. Like I've only seen like maybe a couple of clips, and from the looks of it, I'm guessing it's like one of those like sitcoms. Like it feels, I don't know, it looks like that to me. Like they know they're on set and recording things. Like they know they're on television. Well, yeah, it is called the Patrick Star Show. I'm guessing they're aware it is a TV show.
And I live with my parents. This This is my dad. This is my mom. This is my sister. This is
I know Squidina.
mom. And this is my
It's because he's been referencing her.
And
Like Alex
I was
Bale has been
really
referencing
interested
her
in it because
a
it
lot.
seems to kind of acknowledge the fact that it is a TV show, with Patrick actually being filmed and putting on a show as part of the plot
Okay.
of each episode.
So I am right.
Coming to you from the start.
We had told the show is imaginary with just some playing make believe, but many times we see Squidina with an actual camera. I think she's the main spy of the show, working for the showrunners, keeping Patrick on track and making sure he never finds out about it's actually a real show. Oh wow! So he doesn't even know.
Our family home. It's time for the Patrick Show.
Oh, it's this guy.
And here's your
It's my master, dude. Like I watched one of the whatever the latest season is on Paramount Plus. I freaking love this guy. Oh, I love my master. He's so cool. Nosferatu.
wide awake host.
I love it. I love that guy. Yeah, that guy is probably my favorite when it comes to the new regular characters. I love that creepy guy.
But it's weird. It's supposed to be a prequel when Patrick was still living with his family, but the Patrick's parents and sister characters that were established in the main show have been replaced by completely different people in this
Yeah.
spin-off. This has been a long-running mystery about the Patrick Star Show that many people have asked me to talk about, but
I remember just hearing a comment, like I don't know if it's true or not, but like I guess someone from the show said that they wanted to give them a more, I guess, unique look because in the the past episodes with I guess the characters here on the bottom that they look more on the generic kind and they just want to give them more of an identity to make them look like their own character and not like just a reskin of Patrick. I think the same thing was said with like the redesigned version of Squidward's mom too, I think.
a storyboard artist for the Patrick Star Show actually addressed these contradictions in a very funny Twitter thread where he offers many different possible explanations for why Patrick's family looks different. These range
Oh,
from
obviously the
Patrick
real
just
answer. Wait, I want to see
perceiving
that. I'm actually curious about the real answer.
Patrick's family looks
Obviously, this one is the real answer, but that doesn't mean we can have fun speculating about it in universe answer for the out of universe decision. So there were minor one-off characters that got redesigned in development when the creators realized they needed to make them main characters for a full television show. Oh yeah, there we go. I think that's the one. I think that's the one I was talking about where yeah, because they're now going to be more main characters, I guess they want them to be more unique looking.
different. These range from Patrick just perceiving
Oh my
reality
gosh.
differently, to him just assuming whatever starfish
Oh
is
my.
closest to him is his family, to some kind of crazy timeline manipulation. But my favorite
the
is
heck?
just that they were recast by the in-universe showrunners, and Patrick's too dumb to notice. Also, casual television theory confirmation, no biggie, we're used to it at this point. Now, I watched a good amount of
Yeah,
this
I can
show
see
when
that.
it was first coming out, and there wasn't really too much here for me to analyze, except for one very interesting
You know,
joke.
I guess I can see like even with him not knowing his parents like for the redesign ones here. Like even in the original episode when they first met Patrick's parents, like when they first showed up for the first time, like they weren't even the real ones. Like I'm sure Patrick doesn't even know like what his real parents look like. Like he just forgot about them.
Character, GrandPat, and it ties directly in with my Neptune theory.
He's
GrandPat
royalty?
is allegedly Patrick's grandfather, even though we've never heard about him until now.
Mom, Dad, who's this guy?
I'm your grandfather, GrandPat. Must we do this every morning?
He's sort of a generic, cranky old man character who's apparently somehow been alive since prehistoric times.
Back in
Wow.
my day, we were food. It was way back. in
You
the-
think he's what is his name? Whatever like SpongeGar and Patar. Yeah, do you think he's Patar? Wow.
Patrolithic period of
I wonder if he'll make that connection.
but he's not really that notable or interesting of a character, or that's at least what I thought, until I noticed something strange in the episode Squidina's Little Helper.
Sounds like we're doing a puppet show.
Ew.
Follow
What happened to Mr. Krabs?
Secret crawl space
I'm
runs
guessing it's
all
someone
over the
else,
house.
like a
As
relative.
characters move through a crawl space in Patrick's house, one of them briefly opens the door and finds a weird secret room full of Roman architecture with GrandPat
Wow.
inside.
Who's a hungry boy? Dig in so you can grow up big and bristly.
The puppets are this way.
It's kind of a weird throwaway gag, but there's not really much to it, and they immediately move on with the episode without ever addressing it again. But something about this tiny, insignificant moment really stuck with me, even months after watching this episode. And when I watched it again, I couldn't help but notice that the door leading to the room is labeled XIV.
14.
The Roman numerals for 14.
Fourth. Oh my gosh. As soon as I said 14, like I knew it said 14. I just never thought about Neptune the 14th. Dang.
Seemingly no reason. Is this supposed to be the 14th room in the house or what? But then I remembered we've heard the number 14
Yeah,
before
Neptune.
in the season 4 episode
Squidward.
Crusty Towers.
This room is hideous. Redesign it. Neptune the 14th will be nice. What?
King
So what does this
Neptune
mean?
is also referred to as the 14th. Is it possible that there's some sort of connection
I don't know.
between GrandPat and King Neptune? I mean, that's even
I'm curious to see how he'll make this make sense. Cause yeah, I'm sure I mean, I would say so far it's more of a random thing, like some kind of like gag. But yeah, I want to see how he makes this make sense, like connect things together. Because I don't know how he's gonna do that.
the way you would write a king's ordinal number, with the Roman numerals XIV. Also, the room is full of fancy royal Roman architecture, and the way GrandPat is relaxing and eating grapes like a king. Hear me out, hear me out. Is it possible GrandPat is King Neptune? We know Neptune has the power to change
The thing is, I don't even know how that makes sense.
What the? And it would explain why GrandPat, just a normal sea star, is able to be alive as far back as prehistoric times. He even has a prehistoric drawing of a starfish wearing a crown in his bedroom. This could even explain why they thought Patrick
this episode.
was a descendant of royalty in Rule of Dumb.
Which makes you a descendant of royalty. You are a king.
But wait a second, wait a second. Why would the king of the sea be pretending to be Patrick's cranky old grandpa? Well, remember, the Patrick Star Show is a prequel to the main series, and if you believe my Neptune theory, then you know Neptune wasn't always the king of the sea. It's likely at some point he stole the throne and Poseidon's wife. So, what if this takes place before Neptune became king?
When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river.
When he was all alone, abandoned by his own mother, desperate to find the family that he was denied his whole life. So, how would he get one? Well, it turns out that there just happens to be one family in the sea that's dumb enough not to notice when new family members are added or replaced.
Yeah.
The Patrick Star family.
I think my battery is out, so I'm gonna go ahead and just charge it right away. So yeah, you'll see me like leaning like this for the rest of the video. I'll make sure to have it all charged up by next time.
So, he transforms himself into the cranky old grandfather character, GrandPat, and secretly inserts himself into the family without their knowledge.
Who's this guy?
So it's just transformation.
No idea. Do you see so?
So you can see him too, Bunny?
Oh,
I thought
wow.
I was the only one.
I'm your grandfather, GrandPat. Must we do this every morning?
Finally giving him the family love he's been searching for his entire
Oh,
life.
wow.
We love you.
And if this all still sounds far-fetched to you, listen closely to the music we hear in this scene.
Who's a hungry boy? Dig in so you can grow up big and bristly.
This small piece of music is called Roman Legions, composed by John Kakavas, and it was used only one other time in SpongeBob.
Who's a hungry boy?
Okay.
Neptune,
Oh, wow.
the sea, with his mighty trident.
Wow.
In the Season 10 episode, Trident Trouble, when they are introducing none other than King Neptune the 14th. GrandPat is King Neptune. And that is
Okay.
the GrandPat theory.
Hmm.
Or at least it was until they released the episode Neptune's Ball, where we
What?
see King Neptune and GrandPat in the same room.
Okay. So, wait, what was his theory for then?
And I'm really conflicted about this because, yes, this obviously debunks my theory. Neptune
If I had to guess what he's gonna counter with, I'm just gonna say it's something with Neptune magic. Maybe.
and GrandPat can't be the same person if they're both in the same room. But then why does all of this evidence feel so specific and intentional? Like, most evidence I find can usually be explained as an Easter egg or a coincidence, but like, I can't think of any other reason why this random room would have the Roman numerals 14 on it. Maybe this was something they were setting up but changed their minds about, or maybe there's some sort of time travel shenanigans going on, because we know Patrick's family has a time machine in this show that they use all the time.
Oh wow. It's just normal?
Or maybe I'm just in denial.
Oh wow. I guess that makes sense. Like, not for this theory here, but I remember just watching some of the, I guess, the Title Zone stuff. And like sometimes I would see GrandPat just coming in with a scooter. And yeah, I just did not really understand it that much. I just thought maybe it was a part of the, it was just part of the Patrick Star show. But yeah, now I understand the whole time machine thing.
And I'm overthinking small little random details. Like I've said, these are the theories that didn't make the
I never said in this video,
cut for their own.
Oh dang it, I can't read that. What's next? Video a while back. These are all theories I came up with back then, when I was still making SpongeBob's theories, and I've always wanted to share them. Oh, so these are like the cut theories of his, is it? Is what I assume it says.
Videos, so they're not all gonna be as strong as my main theories, but even if it's unlikely, I'm still gonna hold out hope that maybe I'll be proven right someday. Oh well, on to the next theory.
Is that really it? Oh shoot, commercial? Alright, so I have enough juice in my camera for me to, you know, do a little bit of motion here. But yeah, very interesting theory. It's a very different way of like ending off a theory of Alex Bale, because normally he would try to wrap things up in a nice way, you know, with a bow and all that stuff. But this one was actually where he lost. I never seen a theory of his where he just got disproven like already. Like just imagine the Squilliam theory at the end where he just ended off without that one last thing, you know, without the whole Squilliam robe thing. So yeah. Well yeah, that's a very different feeling right now. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this reaction video. That was the Neptune theory and the GrandPat mini theory. I would say the GrandPat mini theory might be probably my least favorite, my least liked out of all the other mini theories here. The Neptune theory, I would say it does feel like more in the middle. I think it's so hard to really fully, I guess, believe in everything. Like I believe in the movie Neptune stuff. Everything else, I feel like that's just so hard to tackle. That, you know, I think what he made up with was pretty good. But at the end, like you said, it's just a bunch of assumptions, you know. But I do think there are some like connection with like what he said. Like he does a very good job of like making it make sense. But yeah, if anything, like I said, just a Neptune movie, the movie Neptune theory, like that version, I fully am on board with. But yeah, that was it for these two. Next time, we'll be watching the Goofy Goober theory and the Squidward director mini theory. I really want to see this because he kind of teased about this. What the heck? The Krabby Patty is here, like with the motion capture guys. I want to see what that's about. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for now. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good